Do you know how much the contract is worth?
The television contract, I know it's about a $500,000 a year, give or take.
That's half the million got to be split for the school, or is that per school?
No, that goes to
Oh,
the conference. All
yeah.
television contracts, SEC or whatever, all those contracts, it doesn't matter what level, it goes to the conference. Other than Notre Dame, that's the only institution that I'm aware of. At some point, you got a little bit BYU in terms of their contract, but those were essentially the only two institutions where um, a television deal is done with the individual institution. Every other contract is done with the conference, the SET. And what that does is it goes to the conference, and based on the distribution that the conference does, determines how much money goes back to the institution. So it's just a general business ledger for most conferences, what they do. You bring in your revenue, you divide out your expenses, and then based on the profit, there's some type of formula that you split it. So, for example, what the SWAC did at one time is you would also take out what they called shares. You would get a share per school just for being a part of the conference. You would also get a share for winning the football championship. You would get a half a share for being the runner up to the championship. You would get a share for regular season men's and women's championship, and you would get a share for the men's and women's championship. So essentially, the most you could get is 5.5 shares. Share was worth based on the percentage of the number of institutions in the conference divided by whatever the net profit was. Unfortunately, if there was a net loss, obviously you wouldn't get anything, just like a
This
business
is
would.
not the only reason, but this is one of the reasons why the budget deficit for all HBCUs are crazy. So every TV deal, current conference, this is more of a FBS conference deal. People got to realize the money between FCS and FBS is completely different, which is why a lot of conferences, a lot of FCS schools want to join the FBS. Check this out. AAC, teams get about $7 million a year. Okay? ACC, about 17 million. Big 10, 31.4 million. Big 12, about $20 million a year. Conference USA, get around 400 to 500,000 annually per team, by the way, per team. The MAC, who honestly, yeah, each team gets around $600,000 annually. Mountain West, about 4 million annually. Pac-12, 21 million. SEC, the big dogs on campus, 54 million, I believe, 55 million. Sunbelt, 500,000 annually. Notre Dame, 15 million annually. Notre Dame's extension with NBC expires 2025. 15 million annually just for one school. Reason why I brought that up, because do we know what the SWAC's TV deal pays? How about $500,000 for the conference? I don't know anything about the ad revenue sharing and anything like that, but I can damn tell you, 500,000 divided by 12 teams is not sufficient. Now, we can't blame the current administration. All this was created by Mr. Dewar Sharp. Yeah, this is an article from APCU Game Day from 2018. Dewar Sharp is the old SWAC commissioner. He came into all of these contracts. People, you got to know what you're worth. If you're going to say your conference gets $500,000 $1,000 a year, not per school, your conference, to broadcast athletics. 2025 has got to be the year the contracts get renegotiated. Tear them mugs up. Because you got to think about it. Your hottest teams, they'll give you 3 more years until one of them has to do something big. Because Grambling, well, 4 teams actually, Grambling, Southern, Jackson State, and FAMU. It's 2022. You have 3 years left. Get as hot as you can. Renegotiate all those contracts. Yeah. We don't control anything. We don't control what message gets sent out there. We don't control our image. When you don't control your image, you have people, like I've been saying for months, people, when somebody can come in and put a narrative about you, then you have nothing to say back. The amount of money that HBCUs have been getting has got to change. And it has to change at the top. Every school must know their worth. Shoot for the stars, land on the moon. Don't shoot for the sky and land on the roof. It's Coach Simmons, man. It's impact over views.